Welcome back Roughnecks to episode 2 of my showcase collection. Well, I say episode 2, but it's more like episode 4, but that's because I had to split episode 1 into 3. I'm sure you guys didn't want to sit there for nearly an hour listening to me waffling on about backstories, just staring at a figure sat there. It wasn't the most entertaining thing to sit there and watch, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed what you did see, and you got a rough idea of the kind of style that I'm trying to go with this series. I started episode 1 with the customs that I made before I started creating videos. So I thought, why not carry that on and just do a quick overview of the customs I've already made and shown on video. This is for newcomers as well as those that have been with the channel for a while. They may just want a quick refresh and an update on the customs that I have made, and it's a place where we can see all of them together in one video. So without further ado, let's get this going. When I started doing these videos back in January of last year, I believe, god damn, time is flying past, Mario was the very first one that I filmed. Now originally Mario was never a custom idea that I had in mind. I was out Christmas shopping with Norva Juniors, letting them spend their Christmas money, and sorry to drop the C word in what will be March, April by the time this comes out, so I do apologise. While we were in the toy shop, low key in there for myself, but shh, don't tell anyone, I saw the Mario figures that they do, and that was when I instantly had the idea of Mario. And of course I wanted to keep the cartoony styled look of the game instead of the gritty realism from the actual Gears game. And I won't go into too much detail about this guy, these customs, because there are videos of them which hopefully you guys have seen, or if not, they are there to see. And if I remember how to do it, or if I can do it, I will try to tag the video at these parts for the same character. If not, then I will link them in the description. It was a good fun custom to make. I really enjoyed painting this guy, making him, and it was a real test of my skills at the time. I mean, it's quite basic when you really think about it. It's literally red, blue, bit of yellow, but it's still something that's quite intricate to do if you don't have the artistic skills for it. So it was definitely something that was interesting as a challenge, and of course the oversized head for Mario is just hilarious. So I tried to get the look of these guys of how I thought the Coalition would make them if there was ever a deal between Nintendo and Xbox where they mix the two. Like, how would Coalition give us a character from Mario into Gears? So it's roughly sort of how they would look, or how I envisioned they would look, shall I say. With the gun, playing Gears 5 and Gears 4, knowing how they do the weapon skins, thought to myself, how would you implement the colours of Mario into a weapon skin? And now I believe, if I pull his arm down, he's very stiff. There we go. I believe I did a good job with the weapon. It's something that I'm quite proud of in terms of these customs. Let me know what you guys think and what sort of designs you would do. I do have an announcement, or a couple of announcements, regarding the Mario line that I did of customs. So once I've finished with showing these customs, I will explain. And of course, with having Mario, you need Luigi. Every player 1 needs his player 2. And with Gears of War, more so Gears 2 and 3, being quite heavily team focused, co-op based, and really rewarding when you squad up with your friends and play with them, as opposed to Gears 4 and 5 that kind of punishes you for playing in a team. It made sense to have Mario's brothers in arms, if you like, his brother to the end. And of course, Mario and Luigi are quite distinctive in themselves, with Luigi being the leaner of the two. So I gave him Damon Baird's Judgment body from the Judgment game, which works quite nicely in giving him that leaner look as opposed to Mario's more bulky look from the Marcus figure. So of course, Marcus's body, if you weren't aware. And at the time of creating Luigi, I was playing the Mario Rabbids game on Nintendo Switch, where in that game Luigi's attacks are on a ranged basis, so it's basically a sniper. Not that they called it that in the game, but his attacks are all long range based. So with that, I gave him the sniper. If I turn it this way, you can see it a bit better. And again, I wanted to implement the colour scheme from Luigi into the sniper. Not as happy with this sniper as I am with the Lancer, but it still looks good enough. The colour scheme for Luigi wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a bit lighter, kind of like his hat. So I mixed different shades of green to try and give me as close to this Luigi green, but it came out a little darker, which isn't that much of an issue. being a sniper, you don't want him running around with bright green arms, being seen from a distance. Kind of defeats the object of being a sniper and hiding in buildings. And especially in the plains of Sarah, there's not much greenery around, so he's definitely going to be seen. But with Mario and Luigi, I wanted to have some more characters. Especially after painting Mario and having as much fun painting him and creating that customs I did, it started a new wave of customs, which as he led to Princess Peach here. Now, if you haven't seen any of my custom videos regarding these characters, the one that I would urge you guys to watch would be my Peach video. Not just because there's like 4 views on it, but it's because of how difficult this figure was to make. I had nothing but issues with this figure in regarding the paint, the head sculpt, the neck joint. It was just issue after issue, and after watching the video, I'm hoping that you guys can appreciate how well it kind of came out, considering the difficulties that I had. I think after making the video, I wasn't 100% happy with this, and I think that was just more me being frustrated with the problems that came with this figure. Not that I was holding a grudge against an inanimate object, but I was definitely holding a grudge against an inanimate object. After the last couple of weeks, I've been getting these guys out to sort of have a look and sort of grown a new appreciation for sort of how Peach looks. And I don't know if it comes up, but the neck joint for Princess Peach is very, I don't know if that's coming up very well. It's very thin. The figure for Anya, the neck joint is quite, in comparison, it's quite bulky. So there's a lot of carving, a lot of work having to do. At distance, it's even close up, it doesn't look too bad. And I think in terms of weapons, the Nasher is probably my favourite one. There is a mixture of shades between different pinks and red. I don't think it comes out too well on camera. If it is, awesome. If not, then that sucks. But, what can we do? And with having Mario, Luigi and Peach, I needed to create a villain. And of course, when it comes to Mario, there's only one choice for a villain.
Who else but
Bowser! Yeah, so here's Bowser. Originally I wanted him to have Theron armour and be all in black, kind of like Ram's armour. I'm a massive fan of the Therons, and I really like the armor style, so that was something that I really wanted to have for Bowser. But upon trying to get the Bowser head onto the Theron figure, it looks more like a bobblehead. Check out my video and you'll see that in its hilarity, because it is pretty amusing. Even for the Boomer figure, his head is still massive, but Mario's head is oversized, so it's not massively out of scale for the Mario figure line that I've done. When I gave him his spiked collar that was molded with green stuff clay, so I also was going to give Bowser his shell. It just wouldn't look right, it looked really silly, so it was just something I decided against. And of course with that, it meant he didn't have much of his colouring, because he is a giant turtle monster dino raw kind of thing who is trying to wed a human princess and has a grudge and a personal vendetta against the Italian plumbing sector. So clearly something's gone wrong there. So in doing so, I decided to change the color design of his armor. Originally his armor was painted black again because I wanted to keep the original look that I had, or original plan, with the subtraction of his shell and him having not much green to represent his own color. I decided to give him a two-tone dry brushing over his armor. So I gave him two weapons, one of which is the Scorcher, which, if you are unfamiliar with Gears of War, is basically a flamethrower. So this was given to him in essence because he breathes fire, so flamethrower makes sense. And the figure was the Boomer, so I decided to give him the boom shot. Again, with the weapons, I'm just trying to think how the Coalition would make these guns look. Kind of gets the feeling across of it being Bowser's. So as much as I love these four customs, I think they look really good. The one issue I do have with them is the heads don't turn. So I believe that the Jacks that made the Mario figures, NECA made the Gears of War figures, and of course the heads are separate sizes, the neck joints are completely different parts, so there was no way of really having them connect properly, which limits the options that I have for posability, photos, and just general fun that I can have with these. And this is where my announcement comes in. So while I was making these customs, the Super Mario animated movie was coming out, and Jax decided to release figures from the movie. So these are the models from the movie. I think they have better articulation, they have a bit more detail in them, and with Gears of War having better articulated figures now that Storm Collectibles have taken over, and they've given us some amazing figures. The idea is to have these guys combined with the Marcus body from Storm Collectibles, giving myself and the custom a lot more posability, a more realistic look, as the paint scheme I will be going for will be giving him more dirt, more grime. This would be the version of a Gears of War Mario as opposed to my other one, which is a Mario in Gears of War, if that makes sense. I'm hoping I'm explaining that properly, but that's somewhat of a custom remaster that I have planned. Hopefully that I'll be able to get on and do that soon. It's literally just about finding a Storm Collectible Marcus. So if you have any for sale, hit me up. And of course, I did say I had 2 announcements regarding my Mario customs. So my plan for the Yoshis was to have them be Bowser's soldiers. I was going to have them either have different colours representing different variant soldiers in the Locust Army. For example, the green could be a Theron, the blue could be Drone, purple could be a Grenadier. But of course, the Yoshis aren't bad guys. They're allies to Mario. So maybe I'm thinking of, well, hang on, why don't I have these guys as the cog soldiers? It's something I'm trying to decide what I want to do with them. Maybe I might split them, have blue and green as cog soldiers, purple and yellow as Therons maybe, or the Locust soldiers. What do you guys think I should do? Let me know, and we'll see if we can sort something out. You know, while turning Super Mario characters into Gears of War soldiers, I decided to return the favour and turn Gears characters into Marios. In this guy's sense, Baird. Baird Luigi. But it looks horrendous and it's funny, and it's, you know, meant that I didn't waste the figure. Luigi Baird and Mario Marcus are the ones that at the end of my sort of outro video where they bounce and squeak on each other. That's basically just them. So you have seen them before. I just wanted to show them off because they're part of the old Mario collection, as well as of course having, you know, Mario and Luigi in their standard forms. Mario looking all too happy with himself. Next up is my cleavers that I decided to paint. So these were 3D printed for me by LJ. Again, having another shout out. By this rate, I'm going to have to start doing a LJ shout out counter, because he seems to be getting a shout out in every video I do at the minute, but it just goes to show how much the guy helps me out. I will tag his channel in the description. Feel free to go check his stuff out. You won't be disappointed. LJ, thank you for printing these for me. And these were made because this was the scale of the NECA figure, or the NECA cleaver. It's tiny. I'm not sure as to why they decided to make it so small. So this is the, you know, size difference, and this is you, and this is the cleaver you're told not to worry about. But yeah, so it's amazing how with the cleaver being upscaled, it's still kept all its sort of nice intricate detailing on the blade, on the handle, and it looks really good, and it scales really nice with sort of Gears figures when you get them to hold them. It's definitely something worth getting. So this is actually my Theron Rams cleaver that I think I showed in the previous video. Stained blood of his victims. I tried to give them sort of their own unique take, and as you can see, one's got sort of black straps on the handle where the other 3 look very similar. And in terms of the blade, you got the blood stained one. I don't know if you can see, but this one has sort of rusted sort of weather marks on it. This one still has the same markings as the rusted one, but it's more as if it's just being used in general. And then this one has a bit more of a cleaner blade while also having the black handle. And with that, I decided to use one of my spare NECA cleavers just to bloody up, give it a bit more blood detail if it focus. Next up is something that I have painted, and I did film it at the same time that I did the cleavers, but I am yet to release the video, and I will go into as to why. So it's a jackpot, once again printed for me by LJ. So, you know, 2 shout outs in one video. YouTube record that nobody's gonna really pay attention to. NECA did actually have a prototype for a Jack figure. There are images online of it, and it had the screen at the bottom where Anya talks to Dom and Marcus in Gears 2. With NECA deciding not to release it, people have decided to sculpt their own. Clearly the Jackbot in Gears has more of a Gears blue tint to it. This is more of a bluey silver steel. I don't know how well it's coming off on camera, but I wanted him to be a different tone, so it was clearly not Jackbot. The idea for this guy is he was meant to be the bot that was used in my fan fiction. So he would be with, you know, Lieutenant Shaw, Tommy Mad Dog McKnight, but I am hoping to go over the paintwork, give it a different paint scheme, and just see if I can give it a bit of more of a unique look. I'm not a fan of how this looks, it just looks too plain, which is probably why I haven't released the video yet. So when I get time and I'm able to repaint this guy, get the video out and have him with the guys he's supposed to be with. And speaking of 3D prints, something that LJ made and decided to give me a couple on a transaction when I brought some stuff for him, he decided to gift me 2 of these. I had have a plan for a sort of games room, relax room style diorama, and LJ was able to print off a Xbox One Series X, I believe that's supposed to be, and I think this was just a standard Xbox Series X kind of model, and of course controllers. So another shout out for LJ. This one was an inspiration that I had from him. He made a flame boomer from the Gears of War 2. It's a figure that I've always wanted to have as well. There's not too many boomer figures out. We have literally just the boomer and the Mueller. They haven't given us the grinder, the Gears villain, not the app, and they decided not to give us the butcher either. And with NECA deciding not to give us a flame boomer, which seemed really bizarre because they had all the parts to do so, and with NECA being a company that tends to reuse a lot of their assets for other figures, it didn't make sense as to why they didn't. I'm sure there's a reason. It's probably one of the easiest customs to make. You literally just need the boomer, the flame grenadier, and just do a head swap and attach the emulsion tanks to the back. The most difficult thing about this custom is the cost. I mean, a boomer second hand can go between 70 to 150. The flame grenadier is about the same, which sucks for anyone who is sort of wanting to build the custom but doesn't have the money spare, so it can be a pain in the rear. If you do have the funds and it's something that you're wanting to do, it's definitely one to try and build. It looks great on the shelf, and it really adds to your Gears army lineup when you have them on your shelf. So this is the caped Theron from the end of the OG Gears game. I believe it's supposed to be Queen Mira, but they didn't have her character model created and rendered at that point. So what do you do in early noughties or mid noughties games when you need to show there's a leader? Give him a damn cape. And that's his cape. I don't know if you can see the detailing, these sort of buckles I do there just to add a bit more detail. He also has the Theron helmet, where I hollowed out, as the version of this did come with a locust head inside. I could have just had it where, tried to make the heads interchangeable, played around with magnets or something, but I liked the idea of him being able to hold it, and you can sort of take it on and off as you please, and you can put it on his head, have him donning the Theron helmet, or have him helmetless. And my Gears corpse guy, so lovely bones hanging out, nice gore, skull being exposed from his face. I don't know if you can make that out, but sort of the armour around the ribs has been burnt. The idea for this guy is he has literally just been caught in a explosion from a grenade that has just shredded him to pieces. So another fun one to make was one that I had in the pipe work for a very long time. I think a couple of years I had this guy planned. It just took me a while to sort of get the confidence and know how to do some of the stuff that I wanted to do. It's definitely one that I'm really happy with. With some other spare parts, I decided just to make random pelvis, bit of spine and a leg. They're always good for diorama setups or photo setups of just having wounded soldiers. And then my latest custom, Winter Theron. So covered in snow, sniper, giving him a visor that has different kind of settings on it so he can see in the different weather patterns, as his winter fur that he's hunted from animals, while having different kind of furs around him. Another fun one to make. Didn't come out the way that I was hoping to. It's still one that I'm really happy with. I don't normally deal with fabric, so I wasn't 100% sure on how to get it to do what I wanted. Overall, it's definitely one that I actually really, I really like this one. So next up is one of my favourite customs I've done so far. So if you're not familiar, this is the New Day from the WWE. For whatever reason, they were thrown into Gears 5. This is how they look in the game. And of course, it caused a bit of controversy with the Gears fandom because how bright these guys are, as well as the fact that they are wrestlers. It was sort of like, what you're doing. Personally, I really liked their addition to the game, and I decided to make them as customs. So this was the very first one that I did, which was Xavier Woods. I made Xavier Woods, I think 2-3 years ago maybe, and this was a big deal painting this guy. Again, at this point my skills were basic. I think he was like the 3rd or 4th custom that I attempted. The colour schemes and the painting techniques I'd done up to that point weren't very intricate or weren't exactly this detailed. I mean, I say detailed, but my art skills, this was a big challenge, one that I was very happy to do. But of course, same thing with the Mario figures. His head is glued on. It doesn't take anything from the figure. It just would have been nice to have had that extra posability. But of course, with Big E, as you can see, the pink is a lot more metallic than Woods over there. His head is magnets, so I can have him headless if I really wanted to. Something that's so trivial or so small just adds a lot to the figure. And when I came to creating these two, I actually did Kofi Kingston here and Big E at the same time. Whereas when I first attempted to make Xavier Woods, the idea of doing 2 or 3 of these even at once was a big ordeal. And then my confidence and skills has improved, which gave me the ability to be able to, you know, take on these two and get these two done and actually get this trio complete. And if you've seen one of my videos, I think I did 4 or 5 videos back, I'm building a diorama for these guys. It's still currently in the planning process, so the minute I get more updates on that, I will share. So next up is not so much gears or customs. I thought I'll just throw them in with this one, Knight Brothers from Jedi Fallen Order. When you go to Dathomir, so you got the archer and just the standard melee guy. I did get a couple of spare versions of these, and the idea was I was going to paint them different colours and have, you know, blues and reds and greens and just have loads of different versions of Dathomir guys. So it may be something that I will attempt to do, but we'll see. Here he is, Darth Maul. I think this is the version mechanical legs. There is the topless version of him, which looks pretty badass, and obviously the full caped version as well, which at some point I'll probably get. I'd love to make a Darth Maul custom for Kiz, but yeah, obviously these guys are 6-inch scale. They're just completely different size. You'll be happy to know these are the last 2 that I'll be showing off for this episode. I think this has gone on longer than I wanted it to, but there was a lot here, especially my Mario stuff. I've kind of went into a bit too much detail. With these guys, it will lead into my next episode, which will be my NECA Ultimate figures that I have, and then after that, it is primarily 99% gears. This is a good bridge into my official NECA Ultimates. If you are on my Instagram, I released a edited video of Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. I decided to make them pink and purple because why not? And I decided to turn them into a custom, and this light really isn't helping. So this is Michael Myers in a purple getup, and I tried to make it in the 8-bit styled special editions that NECA made for certain characters. They did one for Freddy Krueger, Robocop, Jason Voorhees. I think even Leatherface had one. I think that there was a couple of Predator ones they did, and the Robocop one, they have this sort of tinted lines and highlighted areas. Yeah, like I just wanted to kind of replicate that, almost have it look as if this guy is a special edition, but in actual reality he's just a random customized purple Michael Myers. And then same with Jason here. So, oh no, he's not there, but his pink axes. Could you imagine just a pink Jason Voorhees charging at you? Part of you would be like, what the hell? And you'd forget to run because you're so used to sort of, you know, that kind of look. Of course, he's not in there because jump cutted and took him out of the box. And here is the old pink old Jason. The same again. 2 different kinds of pink. I think in the image that I edited, his trousers were light pink and his t-shirt was dark pink, but when I was painting, I decided to switch it up because America isn't the only land of the free. Mistakes happen, own up to it, done. But yeah, it looks alright. I did not paint his shoes though, but that's fine. Yeah, the mask is pretty cool as well. Look at that face. So these were fun customs to make. Something that I decided to do. Jason being my favourite slasher villain, it just made sense to have a weird coloured version of him. man. Like NECA's quality control for their figures is terrible. He just doesn't want to stand. Okay, right, lay down. You haven't had a film in a while, so you know, just lay down, mate. It's fine. And that is that for this episode. I apologise that it's as long as it was. It wasn't meant to be this long. Seems that the minute I start talking about customs and interests, I can't seem to shut up. As stated earlier when showing the Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, I will be showing my NECA Ultimate collection next, as well as some other figures that I have that may not be from NECA but aren't Gears related. I will probably show off the 2 diorama sets that I've built as well. That's everything non-Gears and custom made related out the way. So then the episode after, I can make a start on my actual Gears collection, stuff that people who have been asking for this kind of video for a while are probably waiting for. Now, this stuff is all part of my collection, hence why I wanted to show, and I just wanted to do a quick update and a closer look at all the customs that I've made so far, now, as well as looking at some additional figures in my collection, like the Mario stuff and the couple of Star Wars figures. So with all of this out of the way, it's just straight road on Gears of War stuff. And I'm quite excited to actually be able to get it out and have a look at it myself. I haven't seen it properly for a long time. There are some good gems in there that I know you guys like. I'm hoping to be able to keep this at a regular interval, try to get these out every Wednesday. There are things coming up that might prevent me from being able to do that. Of course, I will always keep you guys updated on my Instagram, Facebook, and I even have TikTok now, which, yes, I'm still ashamed to say that, but trying to extend the reach. Feel free to check it out. It's Norva Ragnor. But thank you for joining me in seeing my collection. As always, I appreciate the time you guys take out of your schedules, your busy lives, just to sit here and watch my stuff, whether it be 10, 20 minutes of it or however long you sit and handle me waffling on. I appreciate it all, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. I'll see you there, and as always, keep safe.